Is the Bambu Lab P1S worth it in 2026? How well does it hold up over a year of printing? Should you get this or the new flashier P2S or X2D? In this video, I will talk you through my first experience with Bambu Lab and whether you should save money and go with the older P1S or get the new flashier P2S or X2D. There's no doubt that the P1S has started to become slightly outdated with the new flashier models Bambu keeps releasing. But does that mean it's a bad printer? Short answer, no. Although if you will get the P1S, then there are some downsides, but they are minor and we will get into them later on in the video. The P1S was a printer released by Bambu in 2023. So how does it hold up for 2026? It holds up exceptionally well. You have an enclosed, fast quartz-wide printer with standard features like vibration compensation, auto bed leveling, and fast printing, which is already more than enough for most people just wanting to print. But it also depends on what you want out of a printer. If we go back to the downsides I was talking about earlier, then compared to the newer second generation Bambu printers, the P1S loses out on a lot of key features, such as an AI camera which monitors for print failures, a touchscreen, quick swappable nozzle, flow rate calibration, a better servo extruder. The print quality on the machine has been holding up consistently even after 400 hours of usage. Here we have two benches, each printed on different machines. The one on the left was printed on a Creality Ender 3v2, while the one on the right was printed on the P1S. While both benches look identical, the time difference is mostly where it's at, with the Ender 3v2 taking over 2 hours, while the Bambu Lab P1S taking only 15 minutes. While the Ender 3 was on its normal speed, if it were to print on max speed, it would still take an hour. The speed of the P1S made outputting prints much faster and easier without a loss of quality. The quality of all my benches printed from the time I owned the printer has remained the same. While factors like filament brand or filament humidity can affect a comparison like this, it still shows that even with fast speeds, the Bambu can be way more efficient. There's lots of evidence on the internet to support that from other people's experience with Bambu and their machines. What about the AMS multicolor system? That has also been holding up reliably so far with no problem, but I only have had it for 7 months as I got it separately later on in the year. The AMS, however, has been mostly perfect. It is such a handy tool for not having to fiddle around with loading filaments through the back of the machine. It's a good place to store 4 different spools ready for printing on standby, especially if you print additional boxes that store silica gel to keep the filament dry. However, my one critique would be the lack of an inbuilt filament dryer. It's a shame because living in a humid country made me buy a filament dryer to keep all my filament dry. The silica gel boxes do help though. I've had some minor issues with the AMS where sometimes you must reread the filament if you are using a Bambu spool, but other than that, it has been working flawlessly. It is a bit loud with the loading motors, but not as much as people say. Focusing on the downsides of this machine, there are some to note, but nothing too critical. With this machine you get a small monochrome control screen rather than a touchscreen. While it is a downside, this machine is still more than capable with the app on the phone, and the little control screen isn't even as bad as people make it out to be. It does the job for the printer. Another downside can be seen through the time-lapse camera. Don't get me wrong, you can check up on your prints to make sure they haven't failed. However, the sheer quality of the camera is just enough to see what's happening in the printer, because the camera runs at only 720p, half a frame per second. Now it is a cost-cutting measure from Bambu, which I obviously understand, but it is a bit annoying when viewing prints, especially when other printers have better camera quality in today's market. However, the camera is enough for checking up on prints and making decent time lapses. Another downside is the waste that comes with the color changing. If you get the combo package with the AMS, you will be able to do 4 colored prints right out of the box. However, some prints require so many color changes that it also produces so much waste. The time it takes to change colors can also increase print time by a lot. If you print a lot of multicolor, then you might need to look at another machine. However, a big multicolor print here and there is fine as long as you don't care about the waste. In my experience, it is still worth getting the AMS. So, is it worth it getting the P1S in 2026? Yes, it is an underrated option if you want to save money. In my 1 year experience with the P1S, it has been constantly outputting prints with rare failures. But does that mean it's the best budget printer to get? It depends on what you're looking for. If you want to get into 3D printing and you're just getting started, or you are someone looking to save money and are unsure of buying the best machine, then the P1S is a perfect choice. But if you do have more budget to spend, then I'd recommend buying a machine like the P2S or potentially even the X2D. If you want a different brand of printers, then I'd recommend either the Anycubic Cobra S1, LA Centauri Carbon, or the Creality K2.